I am so excited to share how we transformed this beige, boring, drab shed into an incredible potting shed / chicken coop with all the function and aesthetic dream that I've had for it with a little bit of DIY. I want to thank today's sponsor, Wagner. I can't wait to share the sprayer that I used to knock this project out. So when I moved into this house, the one thing, y'all are gonna crack up. I mean, I loved that, you know, I had vision for the inside, but this shed really sold me. I was like, that can be an amazing potting shed. My friend Stephanie at her old house had this incredible potting shed with her garden right in front of it. And I just had been dreaming about it for so long, and I wanted this to be like that. So found more inspiration online. My friend Anna of Call It Christian, she transformed a shed and she divided it into a chicken coop and potting shed. So it was really merging all that I loved about Stephanie's shed and all that I loved about Anna's coop and putting them together and making the perfect potting shed / chicken coop for me. And so if you were to ask me, I've been sharing home inspiration online for 7 years now. And if you were to ask me, how can I make the biggest impact on a space or on something with my home? And I would always say paint. Paint is the easiest way to make the biggest impact. It's not always the only thing you need, but it makes a huge difference. So I knew I needed to paint this shed. But with 2 kids, I have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, I do not always have the time to do that. But last year, actually, my son was only a month old, and my husband and I decided to paint the entire exterior of the house. And we use Wagner's Control Pro 130. It literally took 1 day to paint the entire house. And so I was excited to do that for the shed because I was like, if the whole house only took a day, then the shed is going to take like 30 minutes, which surely was the case. So I'm going to share the process of how we did that, how it's transformed, and then at the end, I'll show you what we're going to do after, because there's even more plans to make this coop amazing. And I will tell you, I'll give you a little preview right here. It has a chandelier, beautiful painted floors. I found an amazing sink off of Facebook Marketplace. I mean, these chickens, these are the bougiest chickens ever, but I can tell you, I'm dreaming of all the plants I'll pot in there, all of just the outdoor dreams that I will be able to achieve inside this shed. So stay tuned for all of that, and I can't wait for you to see the process.
Step 1 of this project is clean out the shed. I don't know if you're like me, but when something isn't designed or updated, it becomes a hoarding spot for me, and you can see that's what happened here. I just started shoving everything, old pots, new pots, random lawn equipment. So we had to clear all that out. Next is these metal shelves that were in here. We actually took those to the metal recycling place, and they gave us $40 for all this metal. So that was a win. Then we're taking down the paneling on the left side, and we actually took out the insulation because there was quite a bit of animal, you know what, in there. And so we were just trying to make sure there was no space for any critters to hide. Then we're taking out this little workbench. This used to be a space for the previous owner to do woodworking and stuff like that. So we're taking out these top shelves here. I know that these look great for storage, but for me, I wanted the chandelier and all of that to be the focus. And so we took that out. These beams look structural. They were not. They were literally not even attached to the side. So next, we are putting in a window. I cut out these 2 holes with my jigsaw and my sawzall in the back of the shed, and this is going to help for ventilation for the chicken coop part. I trimmed it out with a Craftsman style trim. I actually did this in my bedroom, and so I literally just did the exact same project, same exact way, and it really made the window look really finished, really clean, but it also makes a barrier on that hardwire cloth so no predators will be able to get in the coop. Now it's time for the biggest impact. We are going to paint. We have our Wagner Control Pro 130 and we are going to prime. We've already power washed the shed, so it's clean and ready for paint, and now prime. Okay. The biggest question that I get a lot is about the overspray. You saw I got a little bit of overspray on the roof, and you can barely tell now. So it's not a big deal to me, but I really think the cool thing about this was there's not as much overspray as you would think. It's pretty minimal, but I put cardboard on the ground, and then if you saw my exterior video, which I will link, we actually used just a shield, and that shield really made clean, crisp lines, so you don't really have to worry about paint going everywhere. And then when you're using something like this for the interior, you'll, make sure you tape everything off, plastic, that whole thing. We're actually going to do the kitchen cabinets, so you'll be able to see all of that at work. One thing I love about the sprayer is how long the cord is. So you can venture pretty far from the sprayer and still get a good reach to your project without having to move it around and around and around. I am using Sherwin-Williams Soji White. So this is the exact same paint color that we used on the exterior of the house, except for it does look a little creamier over here. But as you see, when we're going, it kind of lightens up. I really did not want anything stark. I wanted it to feel cottage. I wanted it to feel cozy and updated. So you can see how much cleaner the coat is when it's the actual paint and not just the primer. It looks so good. So you can also see that I did a similar style Craftsman trim on where the barn doors will go. Okay, so now that the exterior is painted, it is time to take on the interior. I actually wasn't planning on showing you this in the video. I was only going to show the exterior makeover, but I got so excited by how easy it was to paint the exterior that I was like, let's take everybody along the ride for the interior and get going. One cool thing that we did in this project was we actually put a little door at the bottom so that we can sweep out the coop and clean it out really easily, but it's very secure so predators won't be able to get in. So look how quick, y'all, this footage is only sped up 200%. So that's how quick this whole project was. It's so easy. I mean, this would have taken me forever to paint by hand, and look how clean. I will tell you, in the inside, I did go a little lighter on the paint because I wanted it to look a little bit more weathered and worn and aged, like it had always looked like this. It had always been this beautiful creamy white shed that was just the perfect dreamy place for plants and chickens. So this was really where the biggest impact was made. I mean, the shed's pretty big. It's 16 deep and it's 9 wide. So it's not a small shed at all. But I'm telling you, when I painted the ceilings, it looked 10 times bigger. You can see it looks like it's growing while I'm painting it. So if you feel like you have a small space, whether it's an exterior space or an interior space, going light really does help open it up, and then you can add color with your accents, your chairs, your decor. So now we're back to the exterior. I have decided to plant some mandevillia. Is that how you say it? I got them. They climb on these beautiful trellises that I bought online. Okay, I'm trying to do this with my kids. I told you that I don't have time to paint, and the kids are clearly struggling with mama trying to take on the projects, but at least it's so fast. So we also decided to add a hutch to this space. I know that sounds silly, but we had a lot of things that we were making over, and this is going to be the storage in this space. I got this off Facebook Marketplace for less than $100, and I am painting it Revere Pewter, which looks white in this video, but it is definitely a very light beige. We also painted the exterior doors that you'll see right here, Revere Pewter, and you'll see it's just a very slight contrast. Both colors warm, bright, and pretty much perfection. Last part of this project, so I wasn't also wasn't going to include this in the video. I might do a dedicated video if you guys are interested, but I was very inspired by Liz Marie's mudroom where she did this checkerboard floor. So I decided to take that on. I'll tell you, the tape took forever. I think it's going to be worth it. I do, but this couldn't have taken any longer. I did also use my Wagner Control Pro 130 to paint the floors. And I used the same paint that I used on the exterior and on the interior walls. It was what they recommended for exterior from Behr. And so I'm hoping that it holds up. I know that it wasn't made for floors, but I didn't really want to get another can of paint. And it was going so fast with my sprayer that I was like, I'm just going to keep going. The next thing that we were doing is we were adding wallpaper above this really amazing cast iron sink that we found off Facebook Marketplace. Also, we only found that for $200, and I will tell you that I looked online and they were ranging from $1,000 to $2,500. So I felt like I won the lottery. I would love to know your best Facebook Marketplace find in the comments below. The one that made you feel like you almost just struck gold. That's what I want to know, because here I felt like that. So we put the wallpaper up. You're going to think I'm absolutely ridiculous. And I know I'm going to get comments. That wallpaper, the weather, that it's going to come off. You're probably not supposed to put wallpaper on a pegboard. That's fine, guys. Listen, my bougie chicken coop, my rules. This is what we're doing. And you know what? It's one of those things that if it doesn't hold up because of weather or because it's not supposed to be on a pegboard, I can just redo it. I just want to see how it looks. My friend gave me this wallpaper because she had too much, so I didn't pay anything for the wallpaper. So for me, it was worth the investment in time to see how it turns out.
So you have seen how far we've made it, and I cannot wait to share the final process, kind of the zhuzhing up and the accessorizing and all of the details. The wallpaper's in, but we still need to style that back wall. Still need to finish painting the floors. I would love to know if you would like a dedicated video. We haven't been sharing DIYs as much on this channel. We've been sharing a lot of home tours. So I had planned on just doing a coop tour or a potting shed tour once we're done, which hopefully will be in the next week or two. But if you would also like a dedicated video and tutorial on how to paint the floors and how I did that, taping them off, I would love to know in the comments below, and we will make that up for you. And what do you think? Do you love the shed? Do you think it's overkill? Do you think we did too much? Are you dreaming of doing a project similar? I hope that this inspires you to not only create a potting shed or chicken coop that is dreamy and beautiful and amazing, but I also hope that it inspires you the transformation that paint can have. So if you're just not loving something, or you feel like it just needs some TLC, go grab yourself a Wagner sprayer, and whether it's furniture or it's the entire exterior of your house, it can have a huge impact on a space and make you fall in love with your spaces. And even a novice DIYer can definitely do it. Like, I am not the most DIY savvy, handy person in the world, and it was so easy. So definitely worth it, definitely a great investment, and I will be shouting it from the rooftops. Like, use a sprayer. It will make it so much faster, so much easier, and specifically the Wagner Control Pro 130 is the easiest, most effective one for big spaces. If you have a large area to take on, this is the ticket for you. So I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What do you think about my shed? Do you love the transformation? And I will see you guys next video revealing the entire tour, or maybe the floors. You guys let me know. What do you want to see first? Do you want to see both? Do you want to see, which one are you looking for? So love you guys. See you later.